Welcome back to XY on the Fly. This is episode 4. That's right, 4. And you're still here. So that says more about you than it does about us. You're pretty quiet over there.
Nothing to say yet. Waiting for the line to come in.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna jump right into it. First of all, I'm sure you can see we got Deadpool all over the place. I gotta brag on my wife here for a second. I'm a big time Deadpool fan. I just feel like his personality really suits me. It really fits who I am as an individual. And she hooked it up with a really nice Invicta watch. Look at that.
That's nice.
That's sweet. I was really happy about that. So just kind of Deadpooling it out today, fanboying. But also what's on the adulting? They can have that back. I mean, there's pros to it, but there's a lot of cons. Like, just had to fix my sink, the faucet last night. Got back from the gym. I was brushing my teeth, and as soon as I turned the faucet on in my bathroom, I could as soon as I lifted the handle, I was like, well, something just went wrong. And of course, when I tried to shut it off, the water did not shut off. And of course, I tried playing with the handle, and nothing happened. So I turned the water off underneath the sink, and I fixed it today. So that sucked. That's the one downside of owning versus renting.
Yes.
I know renting can suck, but there are some pros to it, but there's also cons. And then, my motorcycle. This is a fun one. I think I already mentioned it in another podcast. While owning a motorcycle is absolutely amazing, while I love it, while it can't be matched by anything else when it comes to like the enjoyment and freedom I get out of it, it is very expensive. So don't just jump into this going, oh, that's a pretty cheap bike, easy day. If you don't do all your maintenance, which I don't, because one, that is a rocket on wheels. I would rather a professional do it versus me. And then that way, if something goes wrong, I'm not thinking to myself, what did I do wrong? I can just think right before I smash into a tree or something, I could go, wow, that guy didn't do a good job. You know, I don't have to blame myself. It can be somebody else's fault. But 2 tires and an oil change is going to cost me $687.
Man, that is insane. That's insane.
Going to be a good time. But to be fair, though, the tires that I get are not on the cheapest side of the spectrum. I feel like tires are very important. And the way I ride, while I ride hard, I also like the longevity of tires. So I don't get the GTs. The ones I'm getting this time, I'm really excited about. I got the Michelin Road 5s last time, and this time I'm getting the Road 6s. And so they run just a little bit more than the 5s, but they've been getting super good reviews from not only longevity, but grip. They're not as soft as like the GT tires, but from what I've been reading, they're really, really good tires.
And just buying tires for his motorcycle is more expensive than doing it for a vehicle, because 2 tires is for what?
Yeah, so before installation, $477.
$477, and then tires on a motorcycle are never going to last as long as they do on a vehicle, unless you just park your motorcycle in the garage and never ride it.
Yeah. I'm happy with these tires, though. I got about 7,000 miles out of them. So that was nice. I'm sure I could have gotten more, but I do have some tread left on the back. The front I just need to replace because it's looking like there's some cracks showing up in them. And it also looks like a little bit of tread separation there's bumps in the tires that shouldn't be there. So
I want to step back to the house thing, because it's funny you mentioned about the rent, because I was thinking when you called me, then I was thinking, the only downside to renting is you can't rent a house for as much as you can, your mortgage payment. Your mortgage payment is always cheaper than a rental, unless you're going to live in trash. But so maintenance on a home, my wife and I, we've totally redone our house. And let me rephrase that. Contractors and stuff have done a lot. Teresa has done a lot. And I just handle this. The money, because that's all I can do. So it's funny when Chris is getting ready to replace his faucet this morning, or when he put his wood flooring in, same call when he did the wood flooring and this morning. I answered the phone, and he was like, yeah, is Mom there? Because I can't do anything, man. But my wife, she could build the house. So Chris always goes to his mom because I just don't have those skills.
I watch a lot of YouTube videos too to develop skills. That's how I learned how to drive a manual. I watched YouTube videos, and I was like, I could do that. And that all started because of that Mazda RX-8 that I wanted. I looked in the window of the car. I was like, oh man, it's a manual. I don't know how to do that. Let me go home and watch some YouTube videos. But when the guy came out and he's like, you want to test drive it? I was like, I do, but you're gonna have to drive. And he thought I was joking. I was like, I don't know how to drive a manual yet, but I definitely want to go for a ride in it. So that's how I learned most of my stuff. YouTube's awesome.
You do have to have skill, though, because I can watch the YouTube channels. I can have instructions right in front of me, and then I'll like try to put something together, and I get so frustrated that I just want to throw things. And in the past, I have thrown things. I've kind of outgrown that because I'm trying to be more mature. But yeah, I get really frustrated when it comes.
I feel like you think that people automatically are just good at stuff, but really, if you go back and you look at like where they are now from where they started from, I think you'd be like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, definitely there's improvement, but some people just have natural talents. You know, like the generator, when they sent me the switch. Yeah, just put the switch in and, you know, you'll be good to go because my generator's under warranty. And I looked at it, and I'm going to be honest, even Chris looked at that one and was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, you'd have to rip like the whole thing apart.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And here's
I could, but I didn't want to.
Here's my mechanical skill. Get the generator fixed. I took it to a small engine place here. They put the switch in, no problem. Worked like a charm. So I run mine off of propane. So I hooked the hose up after we had got it back, and I was cranking and cranking and cranking. That sucker wouldn't start, and I went into my mode and just throwing things and walked in, and I told Teresa how we got screwed, shouldn't have spent all this money. And well, I let myself calm down, and I said, well, let me go back out there and check it a little closer. Didn't have the hose tightened completely up on the propane tank, and once I did that, 2 pulls, and it started right up.
Nice.
And that's how things work for me. So,
yeah. So, you got a cool nickname,
yes.
and the individual who gave you that nickname has been trying to think of a nickname for me, and I don't think any of them are going to work. I don't think I'm at that age right now. I don't think a cool nickname like yours works. Papa Fly. That's awesome. You can't. There's no nickname for me.
Shout out to Shayna for Papa Fly. I immediately said, yeah, I like that. And what do they call a fly before it's a fly?
A larva?
Baby larva.
That's disgusting.
Baby larva.
That's terrible.
So I wanted to bring something up, something bothering me. Trying to keep it light, trying to make it fun. Maybe Chris can make.
Don't worry, I'm paying attention this time.
Yeah, maybe you can make something fun of it. On Google, any of you, go on Google and search it out. Pisses me off that these people, the professionals, whoever they may be, you don't need the word discipline anymore, only motivation. Because motivation is the same thing as discipline. This is what the professionals are saying. Now, being someone who studied the martial arts for over 30 years, I can tell you the martial arts are a discipline. See, you can be motivated to say, man, I'm going to get my black belt. I'm going to go in and get my black belt. Or you're motivated to, man, I'm going to get huge. You got to have that motivation. But the only thing that will keep you doing rep after rep of lifting weights or block after block for a million times is discipline. Discipline is to train. Motivation is to hype you up, to get you going. So there is a difference for all those geniuses out there. Discipline means to train. They're trying to act like discipline is a bad word. Discipline means punishment. No, discipline means to train. And when you do something over and over and over, it becomes muscle memory because of the discipline, and then it's natural. So I just wanted to get that out there because...
yeah, I couldn't think of anything funny. The only thing that popped into my head is better to be pissed off than pissed on. And then the other thought was, depends on who's peeing on you. So
Did you see that? Did you see that woman? She's this singer, rock band.
Oh yeah. I know all about that. I know all about that. You know, if the tables were flipped,
Oh man,
somebody be in jail right now.
isn't that what R. Kelly's in jail for?
He's in jail for a lot of stuff.
I know, but that
He's in jail for hanging out with Jared from Subway. Yeah.
did he really?
Oh yeah, he's a scumbag.
I know he's a scumbag, but I didn't know he was really hanging out with Jared.
Oh, I don't know if he was
Oh,
either.
okay.
That was a pedophile joke.
Okay.
That was a
Oh man.
Both of those guys deserve to hang on a zip line while barbed wire gets slowly closer up the middle and just cuts them in half. That's how I view it. And if you're a pedophile, fuck you. That's all I'm going to say.
There is definitely. Oh man.
Okay. Oh, cancel culture. So, I like gaming, love video games, and Hogwarts Legacy, which is a very, very good game. They say you could beat it in like 20 to 25 hours, and I don't see how that's possible because I've maybe done 7 main missions, and like the rest of the time I've been going around and exploring. Super awesome game. I guess there's people trying to what's the word? I just had a brain
Cancel?
fart. Cancel it. They're trying to blacklist it, I guess you could say. Boycott it. There you go. Boycott. That's the word I was thinking of because of, J.K. Rowling's apparent transphobic statements. And they're saying that if you buy this game, you hate gays. Take that as you will. I don't understand. And I also don't understand the homophobic statement. First of all, I am not afraid of homosexuals. A phobia is to be afraid of something, and I am not afraid of you. What I am disappointed is that you're living in sin, and that's a disappointment. I don't like that, just like I don't like thieves. I don't like liars. It's all sin, and you could take that for what you want. You can hate me for it, or you could be like, no, you know what? He's kind of right. Or you could be like, oh, you're just a hateful person. I used to work at a gay bar. There's nothing like I'm not afraid. I've been around them, and I have friends who are gay. I don't like their lifestyle. I mean, I'm disappointed in it, but they know where I stand. I know where they stand, and we just leave it alone. It is what it is.
On that, I'd like to say, and like I said, we might touch on a little political thing once in a while. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Look, as a Christian, a true Christian, one who loves the Lord and wants to love people, I treat all people the same. And I treat them in response to how they're going to treat me. So I've never went out of my way to do anything bad to somebody because of their stance or anything. I do want to make this crystal clear, though. And Teresa said this yesterday, and I was like, oh, and she goes, well, I think I heard it somewhere. You all didn't come out of the closet to push me in the closet. You get your freedom, I get my freedom. If I say that God's word says this is a sin, that doesn't make me a hater. I'm giving you a notice that, hey, God says this is a sin, and therefore I care about you, and I want you to not have to suffer God's wrath.
Right. You probably don't go out of your way. It's not like you're running across the street to tell some, a gay couple that's holding hands.
No.
Like, I feel like that's what a lot of people picture when.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just randomly telling people. No, the way I do it, it's if they ask me. Like if we start having a genuine conversation, I don't just randomly go, oh, hey, by the way, I noticed you're gay, and it doesn't. No, that's weird. It's awkward, and I can see where a lot of people would be turned off by like Christianity if somebody's doing that. It is awkward.
Many Christians are, well, those who call themselves Christians, they are a horrible example of Christ's love. However, I don't want those of you who don't know God's word, to say, well, if you have Jesus's love, then you won't call out people for things. That is exactly the opposite of what God's word teaches us. We are to call out things, but it's like Chris said, if I'm in a conversation with somebody and they're asking me my personal opinion, that's when I say it. that's the way you exemplify Christ's love, and that's why I'm a huge fan of Way of the Master with Ray Comfort and the way he goes out and witnesses to people. I just think that's awesome, and we need more Christians behaving like that and doing that, because that's the only way things are going to get done for the kingdom of God. Otherwise, we're just throwing our hands up and saying, "I surrender. I can't fight this battle."
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to some lighter things, man.
Lighter. I was gonna brag on my buddy that I've been lifting with. We did legs last night, and I'm not where I need to be strength wise. I'm getting there. I benched 225. Not benched. I'm sorry. No, I did bench 225 on chest day. I did. I finally got it up. I'm finally getting my strength back to where I want it to be. But I did squats, and I squatted 225, and I did it for multiple reps. So I think that's why I couldn't do 275, because I'd already done, and I was pretty much burnt out. But my buddy who I've been working out with, he put up 300 pounds last night, and I was super proud of him. Not only am I proud of him, but now that's something, healthy competition. It's just something for me to show, okay, you got me here. Let's see for how long. Let's see if it keeps going like that or if I can catch up to you.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And, I look forward to getting over to the Y, because when I did chest last week, this is no lie, for 60 years old, I'm strong. I benched 2 really big rubber bands because I have a Soloflex. So I can't tell you what I actually bench. I mean, don't get me wrong, the straps, the big one, they are heavy, they're hard to push, but I need to get back in the gym so I can see exactly what I'm doing.
I think what I would compare it to is legitimately like the bench Smith machine, where it's got the bars that guide the bench press bar. I think it's pretty equivalent to that, because you don't have to use your stabilizer muscles. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're going to the gym and you use a Smith bench machine, that's about what it was on the Soloflex if you're pushing up 200 pounds. So it was good. It was.
Yeah, but I want to get to, back to where I'm regular benching with using my stabilizer muscles and that, and because it makes a huge difference, man. And I think I'm pretty strong for an old guy, so we'll just see how it goes when I get over there.
Emphasis on the old.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yes. No.
I'm just kidding. You get.
No, it's a.
If I didn't start work.
Speaking of, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, if I didn't start working out again and getting in shape, by the time I hit your age, if God allows me to make it that long, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, why am I still here? I feel like death, but since I started working out, I feel like now, if I get to your age, I think I'll be all right. But before, I wouldn't have been okay. I would have been one of those guys like, get me my cane.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, age, man. This is when I first noticed I was getting old, and this is some years back. Where I grew up in Colorado, in our front yard, we had a like log rail fence. Anyway, in the middle of it, it was 4 feet high. And, as a kid, I used to just run up and leap over it and jump into the yard and go. And we were home there one time, and I ran up to it and just slammed on the brakes because I was like, my brain was telling me, hey, you're not going to make it over that. And it was only 4 feet. So I stopped and I stepped over. And that's when it first dawned on me that I was getting old. And then another time I told Chris, I said, hey, you'll know when you're getting old, because I said, and this was not that long ago, I said, every time I get up and down, I make noises. And I don't mean my body's creaking. I mean I make, or whatever. And Chris turned to me and goes, shoot, Dad, I do that now.
Yeah, so. Yeah. 30 is when it hit me. When I woke up one morning and I was like, if I died today, I could see it. Like, I no longer felt invincible. It was when I turned 30. I was like, what the heck? Like, because before then, like, I never even thought about it. Like, it just wasn't a thought that occurred in my mind. I just was taking it day by day and doing my thing, and life was good. And then, as soon as I hit 30, I woke up and I was like, death is real. Like, that's awkward.
and here's the thing, because he says the things you think about, hopefully I'll mess with some of your brains, because now when you're out driving, you'll be like, dang. But when I was a kid, I was invincible. We all were. And you don't think about anything when you're driving your car. You don't think about dangers or anything. Even though coming home from college one day, I passed a motorhome and a car was coming my way, and I must have missed him by that much. It was so scary. I'm telling you, it was this close because when I got around the motorhome, I had to pull over because I could not keep my right leg from bouncing up and down from the fear. And when I got pulled over, I pushed on my leg real hard, just trying to hold it down, and it was just jumping all around. But here's what I want you to realize. When you're on the highway, on the roads, when cars are passing, when you're not separated or when one's driving by you on the same side of the road, you are 3 feet from death. There's 3 feet.
Those lines are just an unsigned agreement that you guys are going to stay on your own side. Like, I've thought about that before. I'm like, it's nice that everybody that I'm passing just decides to stay on their side of the road. It's real nice. So thank you guys. I'll return the favor.
Yes. Yeah. And it's now like we're getting ready to go on a trip, and I'm already talking to the Lord. Oh, Lord, it sure would be nice if you keep us safe, not only going there, but coming back. And I never thought of that stuff when I was younger. I just used to jump in the vehicle and go and see how far I could drive and how long it would take me. Oh, it took me 12 hours and 42 minutes to get to San Diego, California last time. Oh, look at now. I did it in 12 hours and 40 minutes. So
cut that in half on that thing. Be zooming.
Yeah.
I remember a job that I had. I was out, and this individual took off, and I took off after him. And I almost caught him. I'm thankful that I didn't, because then I found out that I was not supposed to chase them if they took off, which I didn't know. But I'm glad that I didn't catch them. And what caused me to not catch them, what allowed them to get away from my grasp, was when I was just about to catch them, they took a hard left and ran through this ditch. Now, the younger me would have gone right in after him. But the older me immediate was like, slow down. You could twist an ankle. Don't do that. It's funny how things change.
Yeah.
So,
also knowing your geography, I think I told you guys I retired off the border. When I was down there, new Border Patrol agent, this is a sad story. Border Patrol agents, they're by themselves a lot, and there was like 5 or 6 illegals. He got out of his vehicle and started chasing them. This was out in California, and they were going through the brush and everything, and all of a sudden they made a hard left, and the Border Patrol agent didn't know it, and he kept running straight right off a 60-foot cliff.
Jeez.
It killed him. So yeah, knowing your terrain matters too. But yeah, it's things like that. You stop. Well, I don't want to twist my ankle, just like me running up to the fence. Oh my gosh, I might not make it over that 4 feet. That's when you know you're getting old.
So I've had a lot of people tell me that they really enjoyed our military podcast with the military stories and everything. So I was just thinking maybe we could circle back to those. And when you were on deployment, did you ever get the boat crud?
Yes.
Did you ever get that?
Yes.
People got it in different ways. Some people would get super sick and they'd start vomiting and everything. Mine was always out the other end.
Yep.
So this is disclaimer. If you're easily sickened, you might want to skip this part. So I was one of the funny things that happened was we were in the hangar bay one time, and my buddy Romero, he was on top of the jet. He's working up there, and I was at the nose landing gear, and I passed gas. And then I was like, wait a minute, that wasn't just gas. And he's like, what's up, man? What's up? I was like, dude, I think I just shit myself. I was like, I got to go check, man. He's like, all right, I got you. I'll cover you. And I was like, thanks. So as I'm walking away, he stands up on top of the jet and as loud as he can, yo, Thor just shit his pants. And I was like, what is wrong with I hate you. So anyway, it was a false alarm. It was just gas. But and then there was another time. Oh, man, the second deployment was probably the worst when I got boat crud. I don't know. And I've heard that people on cruises get this as well. Like, it's just something that, oh, that would be a miserable time. I'm just saying. Like, if I'm paying for a cruise that's supposed to be nice and relaxing, and all of a sudden I get boat crud, I'm going to want a refund. Like, but I was in the shower, and, oh, man, my stomach just started turning, and I knew I wasn't going to make it to the toilet. And I was like, you know what? I'm in the shower. I will clean this up. And I just let it happen, and it was straight. It was like water, just right out the rear end. And so, obviously, easy cleanup. But, yeah, I just, don't miss that.
You are in such tight confinement on a ship. Now, I wasn't on an aircraft carrier like him. I was on an amphib. But between the racks is where you sleep. It's your bed. On ours, there might have been this much, well, maybe a little more, this much room. So if both of you have taken a shower at the same time, you're pretty close proximity to one another as you're standing there naked.
They didn't have barriers?
No.
Like, we had our own.
No, in the shower. I'm talking about out the bed.
Oh,
at the bed.
Okay.
So, two of my buddies had just gotten done showering, and my one buddy, which he's crazy anyway, he's down on his knees. My other friend was standing up because the one friend had the bottom rack, and then the other guy had the middle rack. I called to the guy who had the middle rack. As he turned really quick, my other buddy turned towards him, and since they were naked,
Oh, my God.
my buddy standing up, his penis went right in my other buddy's mouth. And
is that the story they're sticking with? That's the story. It just randomly wound up in there. I'll bet. Yeah.
Except we were all standing there. But my one buddy, who is crazy, he just turned around to us all and he went, warm.
Yeah, in our racks we had 3 on this side and 3 on this
Yeah.
side, and I mean, unless you had the top rack, you only had like from my I could literally put my elbow on my bed, and then the tip of my middle finger would touch the rack that was above me. So that's what I had to squeeze into, and which normally wasn't that big of a deal until the ship. Like, I could sleep through anything. Our berthing was underneath the where the jets came in to land on the flight deck. And so I could pretty much sleep through anything because you'd hear them landing. I work nights, so flight ops generally happens like all day long. Learn how to sleep through that. Well, I guess the ship got hit, like side swiped or whatever you want to call it, by, I guess it was like a 90-foot rogue wave, and it just slammed into the side of the ship. And, of course, it did it with a loud bang, and I flew up, like sat up super fast and just slammed my head on the top of the rack above me because, you know, it's metal. And I mean, just absolutely obliterated my forehead.
It's funny that you tell that story because we had a guy named, I'll just use his first name, John, and he was 6'6", 265. And when he would be asleep in the rack, his feet would hang out the end, and they wouldn't even be covered. It was like watching a comedy movie. But this guy always got up late for watch. And I was Combat Information Center watch supervisor, and this one night, it was, I think, 2 a.m. We were switching watch, and they were like, the guy who was going to go down, it was like, dang, man, I got to up, and he never gets, I just said his last name.
Google that. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Be like, what's up, dude?
So anyway, I said, hey, man, I'll go down and do the wake-ups. So I went down, got the rest of the guys up, and then I went over to his bed, and I just said very calmly, John, you need to get up. Your rack is on fire. He flew up so fast, just like you said. Man, he put his head into that rack, and all you could see of me was my elbows and the bottom of my feet because I was running out of that berthing compartment, and he was hot on my trail. But guess what? He was on time for watch. And if you're wondering why I was running, let me say it again. He was 6'6", 265. And they finally let him out of the Navy because he just went to a sick call and said that his back was hurting all the time from bending over. So they gave him an honorable discharge, a medical honorable, whatever they call it. Yeah, but yeah, that was funny, man.
Nice. I won't lie. There was a couple times that I tried to figure out, like, think of ways that I could get out of the Navy because I was like, man, this sucks. People suck. Like, I don't. The politics is bullcrap. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. We had this dude in our airframe shop, and the way they would do it is like they would send him to the shop, let him be there for a little while, and then they would send him to the line shack for that's like basic like jet washing and moving them, and the dailies, like looking over the jet and everything. But one of the guys who was in our shop was just a natural when it came to like mechanical, like using his hands and being able to replace things in the jet. And then we had this other individual.
Wait a minute. He had to start over here, and he got to up here. That's what you told me when I was saying natural skills,
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but I mean, some people do have it for sure, but it's very rare. But he was one of the, and I think he kind of was doing it before even not working on jets, but like mechanical, like vehicles and everything. So, but he was just amazing. And we had this girl in the shop who she wasn't as mechanically inclined, but she got real buddy with the shop supervisor and learned how to do the paperwork. Yep. And they pulled this dude and sent him to the line shack when we really could have used him, and she wasn't very beneficial. That pissed me off to no end. Like, that crap was bullcrap. They're like, we're not going to send her because she's beneficial. In what way? The LPO, the shop supervisor and everything, they never leave the shop. They're in there working on the computers the whole time. So why aren't they getting paperwork done? I don't understand. Like, just the politics of it, and like who's kissing whose ass. Like, that was stupid. Like, I think you should be rewarded by the work that you put in.
Well, and that's why I liked the military I was in. When I was in the Navy, it was combatant, which means no females. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like no females can be in the military. But when you're living in such close proximity as we lived on a ship, you don't need women on there. It's going to bring up nothing but problems, pregnancies, all kinds of things. And I prefer the way I serve, because then when I was in the Army, I was with women. And like I say, I'm for women being in the military, but keep them separate from the men, because otherwise it just brings too many troubles. Like, I think I mentioned this before, they put me in a foxhole with my buddy's wife, and she was beautiful. For 3 days, man, we're in this foxhole. Things can happen. No, don't even try it. Nothing happened with me, but things can happen. And I don't think it's conducive to a good, healthy military.
Yeah, I don't think 3 days is long enough. But like on deployment, I know you start getting boat eyes. Like the same individual you saw at the very beginning of deployment looks like a supermodel by the end of the deployment. And then what was really funny is when you're finally done with deployment and you see them out in town, you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to your face? And that goes both ways. I'm not just saying it was the females who got prettier. I'm sure the females saw the guys the same exact way. Yeah. But just nonsense.
Yeah, there's crazy things can happen in the military, and when you get past it and you can look back at it like we do now, there's a lot of funny things. But when you're doing it, some of it just sucks big time. Just big time. Since I was in a secret clearance, worked up in Combat Information Center, thank God we weren't the guys who had to go out and chip paint on the flight deck and all that, to do upkeep on the ship. But we were the guys who had to polish the linoleum floors outside of Combat Information Center leading to the bridge and everything. Excuse me. And sometimes we would strip them, wax them, and buff them before lunch. And then after lunch, since there wasn't anything new to do, they would tell us to do it again.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the kind of stuff that happens in the military. You do a lot of spinning your wheels for absolutely no reason, just because there's nothing else they can think to do with you. So, there's some crazy things that go on in the military. Yeah,
I think we did good right here.
All right,
so another podcast down. So hopefully you stuck with us to the end. Hopefully we didn't get too serious for you. And
Yeah, and that's another thing. I noticed on our long podcast, the count keeps going up, man. It's like they like the long. I don't know. But we're gonna try
I think
to keep
people
it to
just
30
keep coming
minutes.
across it.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Or you guys keep rewatching it because you think it's that good. Just so. But
Hey,
yeah.
that was good. Everybody, this is Papa Fly.
Yeah, I don't know who I am yet. To be determined. Wow, I can speak English. Jeez.
Baby larva.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Come and get it, we will never lose. Coming into battle, we'll leave you better than bruised. Try and stop us, you'll get moved. We don't have time for the bad attitudes. Think I'm playing, this is not a game. Gotta reach souls with a whole new aim. We are not perfect, but we have grace. Searching for the lost cause they get that pain. Breaking down walls and snapping those chains. Showing mad love cause it's Christ who reigns. Spitting mad flow so it sticks in your brain. Sinking in deep like a shot to the vein. Killing this beat like my name is Cain. I'm a child of the king who can't be contained.
Killing this beat like my name is Kane. I'm a child of the king.